Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you doing?
You know, uh, what a weird day yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I man, you're lagging a
Sorry.
lot, I think. Where are you
I
off to
hear you.
this morning?
I'm so I've got our first group uh hero on a mission today from
Nice,
12 to 4. So I'm doing it studio style and recording it up at Common Disc.
nice. Okay, very cool.
Yep.
Good. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning.
Hey, Mike.
Um, man, uh, we haven't talked this morning. We haven't talked since yesterday. I don't really know how much we want to talk about the things that happened yesterday.
Uh
Man,
yeah,
I
I
had
mean it's
done
it's it's pertinent, that's for sure.
I've done a fairly decent job of cutting all the political news out of like my life, right? Like pretty well done. And then
Right.
at like I don't know what time it was yesterday, I started getting all these like Slack messages, right? Like I'm in a bunch of different Slack groups and they just started to go nuts with, talking about like
Yeah.
what was going on and I'm like, okay, this is nonsense. This is, something crazy. And I mean, it is those things. Man, I have no words. I am shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know that I should be, right? I have no idea. I'm
Yeah.
I'm kind of at a loss for words this morning. Like I got up and sat down in the journal, and it's like one of the worst like journaling sessions I've had in a while. Just because, like, man, I like I don't know. It's hard. It's rough. Like you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my mindset where it is on all this is I feel like there's extremists in all parts of life, right?
Yeah.
And you get people who understand and know how to incite them, who sometimes get power. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about politics or corporations or media or all sorts of ideas, right? There's all sorts of crazy places like this in life. It just so happened this one was on display for the whole world to see, you know. And it just so happens the one inciting is our, I guess, still president, former president.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it the way I removed myself from the disgust yesterday, because I'm like you, I remove almost all news, particularly political news, from my news
Yeah.
feeds. But I removed myself from the disgust and looked at it more like a human nature observation, looking at it from the top down, going, look at how hurt and angry and just lost these people are, and it's thinking about what could cause this sort of pain in people, right? Versus, oh my God, these people are horrible. I hate them. They're the worst scum of the earth. How are they even? Like but that's me. I'm the optimist, right? I'm always trying to figure out what's wrong and how can we fix it. Is the stuff I'm always looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I had the moment of just put them down and let's just be done with this. Like, why is this still going on? Like, let's just put them down. Let's be done with this, right? But then, another part of me goes, I would want that if that was my uncle, who I loved, who I knew was crazy, but it's my uncle and I love him. I wouldn't want somebody putting a bullet in him, right? Or I wouldn't, like, stuff like that.
Yeah. Man.
So that's what I did yesterday. I mean, that's kind of what I was looking at. Obviously, it's stupid, but
Man, I respect you for being able to take like that kind of detached view of it. I'm and that makes a lot of sense, honestly. Like I have an uncle who passed away almost almost 18 years ago now, and he could very well have been like one of these people who was like this upset and hurt and everything else. And I'm not even mad yet. Like I'm still just like stunned. Like holy crap, this is crazy. Good morning, Levi. Good morning to Michelle. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning, guys.
Good morning, all.
It's kind of weird to like want to talk about like productivity and getting a lot of stuff done, today. Like, man.
Yeah, I think the parallels that we can talk about here though are that like things are going to rock your world. There are things that may not be this degree, but like they're gonna rock your world, and you have to find ways to keep going, right? Like,
yeah,
there's like 2 weeks from now, a month from now, we will not have forgotten this, but guess what? We'll be back to normal, quote unquote. We'll be doing our own thing. We won't care necessarily on the day-to-day who's sitting in the Oval Office. We'll just be doing our thing. We'll be back to business. So I think the question is, in moments like these, is how do we want to be remembered as reacting to situations like this?
That's a fair
Do you want to be the person that flies off the handle and causes all sorts of their own drama because of somebody else's drama? Or do you want to be the person that sits down and takes a measured, like, deep breath and goes, why is this happening? And how can we make it better next time? And try and understand what's going on.
I try to take that line, right? Yeah, man, I'm oh, we lost Jake. This is probably not the day to try to carry the show by myself. There he is. Hold on one second. He's coming back. There he is.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. That was my bad.
No, you popped away, and I was like, wow, today is not the day I want to try to do this by myself, like, at all.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I don't know. Like, oh, man. I mean, you're making like the absolute right point, right? Because like we have to like get through all of it, but man, like shocks to the system for sure. It's just crazy.
I'm curious. Here's a question for people watching too. Like I'd really like to hear y'all's feedback today. This is something I feel like we can all chat about, right? Not just me and John like lament.
Yeah.
Like when we're in situations like this in our life, what processes or what people or what do we have in place so that we don't sit in the yucky part of it?
Yeah.
Right. Because if we want to, we can sit in this for weeks. I mean, news
fair.
media outlets are going to. That's because that's going to get viewers. Which is why I left big media. I don't care to think about good or bad things for days and weeks and months at a time, because they're gone. They're done. It happened. It's over. I reacted. What's next? But that's partially my personality. So it would be unfair for me to say everyone should do that. So it's like, what things do you have put in your life so that you don't stay in an unhealthy place? Because it's not unhealthy I don't think, to react in a disgusted, angry way or shocked, or it's just then, okay, so now what do I have in place to help me deal with this in a healthy way?
Yeah. I mean, man, I'm super glad that you're my accountability partner, right? Because like, man, I feel like you're processing this a lot better than I am. Right? I mean, for me, it's here in a second. I have to hold on. Mike said something here. Mike says, I wrote a fairly long post, as objective as possible. There have been many lessons over the last year. Things are broken regardless of how you feel. Do the small things and make it better. Mike, you're absolutely right, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Jefferson. It was Thomas Jefferson that said there are no national politics. There's only local politics, and I like that take on. I can only do what I can do here in my own circles. Really, like
Yeah.
sure I can vote and sure I can do other things, but like what would I do today, given the information I have now locally here?
Man, I don't know.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's
like
because then there's the other thing of like being pulled in too many directions and losing your focus entirely, right? Like, I have no desire to be like in that realm at all, right? Like none whatsoever. Like much respect for people who want to go out and do that and make that change and live in the glass bowls that come along with it. But no. James wants to make sure you're parked.
Yes, James, I'm parked, but I can't find the Honda dealership. And I'm on a show right now. So I wasn't going to go over to my maps and check it out. So I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm picking James up. Oh, he dropped his car off.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good morning, James.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, man. Do you have any opinions on yesterday, James? I'm curious to see what his opinion is about it.
Yeah, Donald Miller had an interesting response yesterday on Instagram TV or Instagram, where he just talked about the Enneagram number that Donald Trump is and how 8s are powerful, amazing leaders when they're healthy, but when they're not, they bring the whole thing down around them. Yeah. And this is a predictable thing if you know what Enneagram 8s look like because he's unhealthy. But back to what I was saying is what can you do here today locally? Like the first thing that came to mind yesterday was some of these people are off balance. Like they're just in a place that's, I'm not going to label them mentally ill, but they're just way out somewhere that emotionally that they shouldn't be. And so what can I do locally? I can contribute to or give money or time or resources to organizations that help people who have PTSD. Like that's where I would categorize maybe somebody who was in the Capitol yesterday. Maybe they're PTSD, and so that's a way I can locally give to something to make me feel like I saw a need and I gave, right? Is it going to fix what's going on the Capitol Hill? No, but dude, nobody's going to fix that today.
Oh yeah.
Or this year.
Yeah.
So it's like what I can do is give money to PTSD.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, I'm not there yet mentally. Michelle says that she agrees with you. She's sad and in disbelief, but I'm going to keep positive and focused and just glad she has 34 acres of walking. Yeah. I feel that. I wish I was on 34 acres in the middle of nowhere. James totally agrees with Donald. Hopefully not the Trump. I'm gonna guess that was Miller. We lost Jake again, everybody, and it is dangerous to have extremists on either left or right. But I don't think there's any getting away from that, James. There he is again. You got your phone figured out, buddy?
No, clearly not.
Clearly not. Okay.
Yeah, not for StreamYard.
I remember my first day with a smartphone touchscreen device as well.
Touche.
Man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How was yesterday? Other than that, how was school? Like, did this penetrate into the school?
Yes and no. So, like one of the interesting dynamics is I'm with a lot of moms, because it's homeschool, and so moms are primarily the people that do that. There's one other dad there. And they were on their smartphones, like there's some of that going on. But not really. I mean, nobody talked about it. There wasn't any like stuff. So I stopped down at lunch and pulled out my phone and just to see if I could see what was going on, and started seeing some of the video and whatnot. But then I put it away and went back to work, and I actually had a really, really fun time in my son's class yesterday. They were doing impromptu speeches. And so they would take something out of a jar and they had to create a specific type of speech. And it kind of went off, wheels off. Like, it was hilarious. So that was a lot of fun. And then after I got done, I went to my email, not back to the news. Went to my email to check stuff off, make sure I was getting stuff done, and then about 6 o'clock, I got back on social media, and I actually set an alarm on my phone, and I just read for about 20-25 minutes, and just went through as many different websites as far as political spectrum, left and right, as I could to get everyone's kind of stance on it. And that's all I did. So, and I did no work yesterday, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah. So like that all like happened, my Slacks started going crazy and stuff. Right. And I dipped my toe in the water a little bit and then decided to kind of pull it back out. And, I was on a group call with some people in one of the Slack groups, and we were just we talked about it very briefly, and then we just kind of put it down because it seemed like one of the people on there was kind of doing the, well, let's wait and see who these people really are kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, we can just put this conversation down here. Like we don't, continue talking about it. And I made a post on Facebook, and it's weird because I walked the post back fairly significantly from the first version of the thing that I had written. And like this morning, like I'm thinking about that post, I'm like, man, like it was just for no great reason, like whatsoever. Like, I mean, it's so crazy.
Just out of anger.
Yeah. Levi has a thing here, so this might take up the whole screen. I'm of two mindsets on this: the poker player and the parent. The player in me feels like he's watching his formidable opponent get too drunk at the table, sad but plenty to exploit. The parent feels like I'm watching my child throw a tantrum in public. All I can do is face the calm until the fit burns out. They took away the dude's ability to tweet for 12 hours, right? Which is, like his kind of like a lifeline almost in some of these situations. And we have some friends in town this week from Chicago. My friend Mike and his fiance are in town, and they're living in Chicago, so they've been quarantining, and now they're here for some wedding planning stuff. And we all hung out last night, and man, it's I don't know, crazy stuff. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm all over the place about it. And then went to bed, right? Went to bed fairly early and slept okay, but like woke up and like didn't feel like going for a walk. My journaling session was kind of trash. I've got a pretty full day today, which, I'm just kind of like, I have other stuff going on other than like just this thing that we haven't really talked about too much on here yet, because I'm just not ready to talk about it yet. And yeah, man, it's been a heavy week for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like it should be like the 25th of January for me right now. Like, it does not feel like it's the 7th of January in a brand new month and a brand new year. Man, I just feeling today, weathered, and not preserved.
Yeah, it's interesting how expectations will, to me, I don't know what the right word would be, but like when you have the right expectations, it almost protects your energy levels, versus when you don't and you're shocked, it saps you. Mm-hmm. I expected something extreme to happen yesterday. I didn't know what it was going to be. I had no clue, but I knew in my heart that something extreme of some sort from somebody was going to happen. So when it happened, I guess it just didn't take me, maybe like it took a lot of people, because I was like, clearly this is where it was headed. I mean, we've been in the news for 2 months about he's not leaving, right? So it's like, and we know what the people on the extreme sides look like already. So it's like, it just didn't. The only extra shocking part for me was how it was treated from a law enforcement standpoint. But we knew, once again, we knew how it was going to go down. So I don't know if that's maybe for me why I was able to like file it more quickly than maybe a lot of other people. But maybe. It was like, yeah, duh. Yeah.
The Tim Ferriss podcast, one, like I've not been like a regular listener in a while, but he has Jerry Seinfeld on one of the more recent episodes, right? And it's amazing. And there's a couple of like really, really great things in there, but like he says this line about like writing and the creative process, right? Because he forces himself to sit and write. And his line is, you don't have to write, but you cannot do anything else, right? And so then they're talking about it. And the line he says is like, this is just the aggravation that I'm used to, right? And I'm like, I heard that line and it's just been like circling around in my head, right? Because like I talk to people who are all over the place, right? Like I have friends from high school who see like the, this version of me, on Facebook talking about the things that I do. And like, they're like, man, I don't know how you do that. And it's just like, well, I'm just used to it, And I think that I have done like such a good job of like kind of separating myself from all like the politics versus like back in March and April and stuff when I was really, really under the water with it. So then to like, man, it was like, I think you have been in the water that has slowly been turned up, and I decided to like jump into like a boiling pot of water yesterday, and like just like was not ready for the shock of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really great way to put it. I love that because I'm the same way on like TV shows, right? Like people will get like out of their mind about TV. Like when Game of Thrones was going on, like people were out of their mind on social media, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to work. Like, I'm glad y'all like that show. It's awesome. So I think there is a level that I think that you get to in certain areas of your life. It just hits different areas of your life at different points, right? Yeah. Where you go, the outside world doesn't affect this part of my life. It just doesn't. And I have the full authority and agency of this area of my life, and it doesn't really matter what comes at me. I know what tomorrow's going to look like if I wake up. Yeah. And I think politics is just one of those areas in my life. It's just been that way for a long, long time for me.
Man, I'm impressed with your detachment, buddy. Like, honestly, like it's humbling because like I've been feeling very undetached, like this week and especially like the past like 24 hours, man. And I'm stoked for you, dude.
I'm glad I'm there, but I've been there for 10 years. That's why I think that's the difference. Like I stopped 10 years ago. So like I'm not detached in other areas of my life, it just happens to be one. So it's like, I even remember when like Apple's a great idea, a great example, right? People just lose their minds when the new Apple phone comes out. But like, I used to be that way about video games. Like I used to like stand in line and save money and make poor financial choices so I could get the new system and load up on all the things and blah, blah, blah. And like, I used to like treat it, to use religious terms, like an idol, right? Like it was more important than anything else to me. So I know the feelings for sure. It's just, thanks for the compliment. I don't want to pass that by. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you got this thing in the afternoon. You're picking up James now. What else is on your agenda today?
Got a strategy call. We're going to try and use the Business Made Simple book that's coming out. Also as a lead generator, come by, do a book club, give the book away, some stuff like that. So we're going to meet and talk about some strategy around lead generation. We're going to be doing 12 to 4. So the whole afternoon will be the Hero on a Mission workshop. And then we've got, of course, stuff happening every day, client stuff we got to knock down in the middle. So it's a busy day for me. What about you?
I have whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I coaching with Levi and Jordan here in about 5 minutes. After that, I have sales practice lab for role-playing groups. After that, I have a call with a partner to talk about some LinkedIn stuff. After that, I have a podcast interview with a guy named Tim Kilroy, who's super solid dude. He sent me his cold email compendium, and it is really, really well written. Okay. So I've done a show inside of his group, but I think this time we're doing something else. After that, I have a call with a potential book reader, somebody who came my way from my book coach. After that, I have a call with Manesh Sethi of Pavlok, talk about some stuff there. And then I've got just like a networking call to kind of end the day with at 4. So long, full day for me.
Yeah. That's good.
So, yeah, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, lots of blocking and tackling that I've been kind of putting off. So have some work to catch up on. and some planning to do because some changes are coming. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So at this point, nothing to do but to do it. So
That's right.
you got to go pick up James. So we should probably wrap this up a little bit early. I can be on time for Levi and Jordan. So thank you to Levi and James and Michelle and Mike and Michelle for hanging out with us this morning. Go try to be productive, right? And focus on stuff that needs your focus and not things that you cannot control.
That's right. Yeah, go own your day. Don't give it to anybody else.
Absolutely.
Just go out there and do it, which you do. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you all tomorrow.